Hi, welcome to Movies Moment. Today we are going to explain a movie called Caddo Lake. Spoilers ahead. Subscribe if you like this and catch us on the next one. Take care.
One day, Paris and his mother's car falls off a bridge. Paris manages to swim to shore, but his mother does not survive. After a period of mourning, Paris returns to work. Together with his partner, he engages in dredging work on Caddo Lake, a reservoir on the border between Louisiana and Texas. His father is deeply dissatisfied with the condition of the lake and blames the dam for its pollution. In the same town, teenager Ellie lives with her mother, stepfather, and stepsister Anna. The girls are very close, despite Ellie being a troubled child who frequently argues with her mother. That day, Ellie tells Anna she'll be staying overnight at a friend's house. Anna mentions that wolves were recently spotted by the lake, but Ellie dismisses it, believing these animals haven't been around here for ages. Arriving at the shore near their home, the girls see some local teenagers examining a half-eaten alligator carcass. Ellie throws it back into the lake, certain that there are no predators like that left here. Meanwhile, Paris waits for the doctor who treated his mother, seeking answers about why she lost consciousness at the wheel. His father kept detailed notes on her episodes, noting that she had never previously experienced ear bleeding, as happened on the day of the accident. The doctor assures him that little is known about brain functions and suggests his mother's fainting was just a side effect. After this conversation, Paris heads home, where his ex-girlfriend C, who moved to Houston after their breakup, is waiting for him. She surveys the area where Paris started building a house, walks through the designated rooms, and pretends it's a finished home where they live together. She prepares an imaginary dinner and then serves Paris. Around the same time, Ellie pulls out Anna's loose milk tooth, and then the girls go to join their stepfather's relatives at the dinner table. Anna shows off the unusual moth she's caught, which one of the guests identifies as a four-eyed species, long thought extinct in this region. Ellie tells her mother she wants to finish this semester early. However, for the paperwork, she needs her mother's signature and her father's death certificate, as it's been over 7 years since his death. Celeste promises that she and Daniel will handle it and asks Ellie not to make a scene. Meanwhile, Paris and C talk about his current life. She tries to cheer him up, and he thanks her for being there. Anna shows Ellie a necklace with a Cancer constellation pendant she found in their mother's jewelry box, while Ellie secretly searches for the death certificate. Celeste walks in, scolding her disobedient daughter. Ellie leaves, despite Anna's pleas for her to stay. Daniel catches up to her on the pier, concerned since the lake is now shallow, making it dangerous to navigate, but Ellie drives off without looking back. At the same time, Paris says goodbye to C, putting her in her car. His dog suddenly starts barking restlessly at the lake. Ellie heads into the dried-up forest exposed by the drought. Suddenly, eerie sounds echo over the lake, frightening both Ellie and Paris. Paris calls his dog back, while Ellie spots a pack of wolves in the submerged thickets. Later, she arrives at her friend's house and tells her about the animals, suggesting someone must have brought them here. That's also where Anna found those huge, four-eyed moths. The next morning, Ellie is woken up by a phone call. Celeste tells her that Anna has disappeared, and they need her boat. Paris heads to work on the lake, where his partner suggests they take a shortcut across the dried-up section. Ellie rushes home. She moors the boat, which her stepfather's brother notices, and runs toward the house. Celeste is calling all friends and acquaintances while Daniel prepares to search the streams. Suddenly, Daniel realizes Ellie's boat is no longer docked. He yells at her, but Ellie doesn't understand who could have taken it, as she just tied it up. It seems someone has left on it. Meanwhile, Paris walks through the exposed forest, where he finds an abandoned oil pump. Suddenly, he temporarily loses his hearing. He staggers, and his hearing returns. His partner calls out to him, surprised by his sudden appearance. The area is strewn with debris, and their boat is stuck. Paris begins clearing the motor, and suddenly notices his mother's necklace wrapped around the propeller. In the meantime, friends and neighbors have joined the search for Anna. Celeste shows a photo of her daughter, noting that she's missing a front tooth now. The sheriff arrives, announcing that a search party is being assembled and reminding them that Anna has run away before to spend time with her stepsister. But this time it's different. No one argued, and the boats are gone. Either she was taken or she's injured. Paris returns to his family home, pulls out a box of his mother's belongings, and checks the pendants, confirming they're identical. Meanwhile, Ellie and Daniel take the neighbor's boat to search for Anna. C arrives at Paris's place, and he gives her the necklace he found, leading her to the spot where he lost his hearing. But now, everything seems normal. In the meantime, rescuers find Anna's empty boat. Ellie notices that the girl's life jacket, labeled with her name, is missing. Paris tells C about his hearing loss and the trembling in his hand, and how he then found the necklace. He's convinced his mother was there. C recalls their last boat ride during the previous drought when they got stuck in the silt. Paris recalls it was 1999 and abruptly leaves. He finds his father's weather records from the last 50 years, detailing all droughts and lake recessions. The searchers divide the lake into sectors for their teams. The sheriff warns that a crack has formed in the dam, and if it breaks, Anna might never be found. Ellie insists on checking the dried-up forest, but the sheriff considers it too dangerous. Paris shows C his records. It turns out his mother's episodes occurred during droughts. C worries the illness might be hereditary, but he tries to assure her something strange happens when a particular part of the lake dries up. C says she loves him and even delays returning to Houston, but he's unable to respond. Ellie asks her mother why Anna's boat was brought home instead of being examined. It turns out the sheriff ordered it returned to the family. Celeste explains that Anna often cried from missing her sister. Ellie shifts the conversation to her father, suggesting her mother is acting out too. Celeste then admits that he simply abandoned them, explaining she knows because his new girlfriend attacked her in a store parking lot. That's why she hid everything from Ellie. Ellie walks out crying as the news broadcasts warnings about the dam, which was built in the 1950s. Meanwhile, everyone who can is out searching for Anna. Ellie finds a photo of her sister and takes her boat to the area where the water level has dropped, exposing the lake bed. At this time, Paris's father stops him, worried since he didn't show up to work. Strange sounds echo from the lake, and Paris's hand starts to tremble. He bids his father goodbye and leaves. Ellie walks around, calling her sister's name. That night, she spots a boat with voices calling for Anna, but she hides from the searchers. Suddenly, she's surrounded by total darkness, though there were flashlights just moments ago. The connection is lost, and Ellie is unsure what's happening. Dawn breaks and she sees a figure on the shore, a fisherman who's surprised to find her there and agrees to take her home. Ellie enters her home, finding Celeste on the phone, calling everyone she knows in search of Anna as if the days of searching had never happened. Ellie looks out the window and sees her boat moored with another Ellie inside. She exits through the back door, gets into the other Ellie's boat, and speeds off. Her hand begins to shake, but she doesn't slow down. Paris is also heading to the lake when he finds the bridge he's passing under is intact. Ahead of Ellie, the bridge lies in ruins. They're exploring the same area, but in different times. Ellie calls her sister's name and she responds. Paris hears something as well and heads toward the sounds. Ellie's ears start bleeding, but she finally spots Anna. Paris also feels the sonic impact, and suddenly night turns to day. Then he sees a girl lying on the ground in an orange life vest. Ellie hugs her sister, but realizes this Anna lives in a time a month earlier when she first ran away. She also notices the girl's teeth are all intact. Paris notices that the girl has been injured by a tree branch. Anna blames her sister for constantly arguing with their mother, and Ellie tells her to get in the boat. Paris removes the branch from the girl's back, covers the wound, and carries her to the people. He sees a new operational oil pump. Ellie brings Anna home and asks her parents not to let her near the lake again. Daniel expresses his disappointment in her behavior and asks her not to upset her mother. Shaken, Ellie leaves. Paris carries the injured girl to the construction site where the dam is being built, hands her over to the workers, who find him suspicious. He learns it's 1952. He runs off after the workers take her to the doctor, looks at his notes, and sees that there was also a drought that year. Then he glances at his own time, 2003, and realizes he can go back. Ellie reaches the spot where she found Anna and starts searching for her own traces. She falls into a pit, and when she crawls out, night has turned to day. Paris also finds the place where he found Anna. Ellie reaches her boat and sees a swarm of four-eyed moths. Daniel calls her, but the connection is weak, and he can't figure out her location. She ties a rope to a tree and begins circling the area, calling for Anna. Paris sees this yellow rope, but suddenly he falls, and blood starts flowing from his ears. Ellie closes her loop, and her hand begins to tremble. Paris sees her boat. Ellie finds her sister's life jacket. Paris boards the boat and sails away. Ellie also finds an old boat. Paris is stopped by the police, who are searching for Anna. They ask for his ID, but he doesn't have it and flees. His boat hits a stump, and he falls into the water. Ellie docks and sees a poster from 2005. Paris is taken to the hospital, where he learns he's in 2022. Ellie wanders the town, showing everyone Anna's photo. Outside a grocery store, she suddenly sees her mother's necklace hanging from a car mirror, remembering Anna took it the day she disappeared. Meanwhile, Paris is interrogated by a police officer, but he stays silent, unsure how to explain his presence in the future. Ellie breaks into the car to retrieve the necklace, and the car's owner confronts her, demanding its return. Ellie asks where the pendant came from, and the woman says it belonged to her missing boyfriend's mother, Anna. Ellie picks up a missing person poster with her father's, Paris's, photo on it and realizes the woman is her mother, Celeste, holding Ellie as a baby. Celeste, assuming Ellie is Paris's lover for whom he left her, asks her to tell him he has a daughter. Ellie runs away. She finds an internet cafe and searches for everything she can find about Anna. Paris asks to be taken to the restroom from where he escapes. Ellie finds records about Anna and calculates the years. Paris sees a news report with Anna's photo, realizing that the girl he saved in the past is his own mother. Ellie realizes the girl from the past is her missing sister. She tearfully follows her journey from primary school, university graduation, her wedding, and the birth of her son, whom she recognizes as her father. Paris unexpectedly finds himself in the hospital room where his aged father lies. He tells him he found his mother. It turns out there's a place on the lake where time travel is possible, which explains her illness, as she came from the future, just as he did. They find him, and Paris jumps out the window. Ellie, having reviewed all the information, realizes her stepsister Anna is actually her grandmother. At this point, Paris seizes Celeste in Daniel's car and heads to the lake. Ellie returns to the lake to go back to her own time. Paris is spotted by the police, who pursue him while Ellie reaches her marked square. The police stop Paris on the bridge, and he jumps into the water. Ellie follows her rope when the dam breaks, the wave reaching Paris, who dies. The water floods the temporal anomaly area, and Ellie returns to her time, where the search for Anna has been ongoing for 3 days. Daniel mentions a guy who looked very similar to her father, who died after jumping from the dam. Ellie tells him they're family despite the arguments, but doesn't reveal that he is her great-grandfather. She returns home as the TV shows a photo of Paris, with the police requesting help identifying him. Celeste is shocked at the news. Ellie shows her Anna's school photo from 1952 and hugs her, explaining that neither Anna nor Paris wanted to leave them. Filming movies about time loops is always challenging due to the contradictions and confusion that arise in the final resolution. However, this one successfully creates the right balance between the main character's stories and a tangled plot, which becomes fully understandable and explained by the finale.